Thank you so much for visiting this channel, and on this channel we talk about personal finance and investing. And today I'm going to talk about how much I will need for me to retire. In other words, retirement for me and my family would be a point where we would not have to worry about working for money. In other words, if we choose to spend time or to do whatever we will have to do, our basic living expenses will have been covered. So let's face it, a lot of people, they are stuck in jobs that they don't really like. But before we get started, I just want to disclaimer that this content is just for educational purposes. As such, it should not be taken as investment advice. So for some background context, I live in Canada. In Canada, in my view, has a very decent pension plan. And this pension plan in Canada is premised on three pillars. The first one is what is known as the old age security, and it is funded from the federal taxes. And for one to be eligible, they should be at least 65 years, and they can delay withdrawing their old age security, commonly known as OAS, up to when they are 70 years. And the second pillar is that called as the Canada Pension Plan for those who live in other provinces and territories outside of Quebec. And for those in Quebec, they have what is known as the Quebec Pension Plan. And essentially, these pensions, the CPP and the Quebec Pension Plan, is pulled out of the contributions from the employer and employees during their work life. So if you contribute through your working life, then you can be eligible to that pension plan, in addition to other criteria that they state. And the third one that I would like to focus on is the pillar number 3, which is made from constitutes the private pension plan, and this is funded through all other private contributions, such as registered accounts, such as the tax-free savings account, registered retirement plans, and a lot more that people, other sources of income, like some people can get inheritance, or they can save money or have money from their businesses that they would be considering as a private pension plan. So in coming up with how much I will need, this was my premise, that I don't have to worry about the old age security and the Canada pension plan or the Quebec pension plan if I will retire in Quebec, or if I decide to move to Quebec. So what this means is that for me, I'm just focusing on the portfolio that I will be managing and my personal income, not the one that would come from the government. So in doing so, I came across a model that was developed by researchers who used what is known as the Monte Carlo simulation. Basically, they ran multiple scenarios to say, let's say if there are a bunch of other people who have this amount of income and they withdraw their retirement income at this rate, right? How long will they live and how much can they go? And the conclusions were that at least if you have that retirement income, right, and you don't withdraw more than 4% every year, and you get at least 6% in annual return, and you have a portfolio that is diversified in stocks and bonds, you will be just fine. So in this case, the formula in summary is that you have to know the living expenses that you would need. The advantage in Canada is that there's a public healthcare system. So in that case, number one, I would need, let's say hypothetically, 4,000 Canadian dollars. And then if I multiply that number by 12 to annualize it, I would get 48,000 that I would need every year. And you multiply that number by 25 to get 1.2 million in this case. So essentially, I would need a portfolio of at least 1.2 million. Right? And the caveat, like I indicated before, is that I should not withdraw at most, in other words, more than 4% every year, right? And this portfolio must be balanced with some, fixed income securities such as guaranteed investment certificates. In other words, if the market drops, I would still get some yield and some income streams. So also the other point is that I should have, like maybe, dividends that come in, so that at least I can have income streams that are coming in. So essentially, that's it in terms of how much I would need. And of course, I've been thinking about other ideas, such as maybe retiring in other countries that have a lower cost of living. For example, let's say if you relocate to a developing country, but then the other consideration that I would need, healthcare plan. For example, I've checked online, there are a bunch of them that can offer Canadians that kind of healthcare, and I think on average it's like $200 per month. So in short, one way to retire early is to choose to live a life that does not require a lot of money. So in that case, that would be the case. But the other case is to work until maybe when you are 65 years old, and then benefit from the Canada Pension Plan and old age security and other options. But from what I have seen, it's not a lot of money on average, as most people would think. So that's why for me, I ignore when I making my calculations, I just focus on what I can control. If I can hit that amount that I need, that is at least 1.2 million, all things equal, then I would be just fine and have a diversified portfolio. So that's it in terms of how much I would need and other consideration. And of course, there are many options, and it depends on what makes one have a peace of mind. For me, that's it. If I get that amount, then I would simply focus on things that I'm passionate about. It doesn't necessarily mean that I would stop working. I really, would like to work, for other employers, or even do my own things on the side. But for me, it's more about just having those options. So that's it. I hope to hear what you think on the comments. So please don't also forget to subscribe and comment.